Edging closer to the start of Euro 2020, today we're going to take a look at the other side of the draw. Of course, it's Groups D, E and F, and I've got my predictions coming at you next. Right, folks, back once again with another prediction show. Today we're taking a look at match number 1, part 2. That's right, with of course the back end of the groups, of course focusing on D, E and F, and we'll get to that in just one second. If you're new to the channel, where the heck have you been, boys? Smash your subscribe button to keep your bang up to date with all things Euro 2020 related, Blackburn Rovers related, whoa, football related. We're going to do all here, boys. Under one Rooski, that's right. Of course, yesterday we looked at groups A, B and C. Today it is that back stretch, and we'll get to that in one second. Of course, big shout out to the VIPs. They are the patrons. Thank you for your continued support, of course. And if you are looking out there and think, you know what, I'll support this clown, well, check out the link down below, patreon.com/overseas, to lend me your support. So here we go. We're going to do a little bit of an overview of what we did last time around, because just in case you've only watched the second half, which is, of course, this video. So a quick, if you've seen yesterday's, you'll know what I'm talking about. A bit of an overview. So here we go. Of course, Euro 2020 will start on the 11th of June. That's right, running through to the 11th of July. And I'll be there every step of the way with you. Of course, the 24 nations split into 6 groups. And, of course, 16 nations will progress to the knockout stages. Of course, that is done by, of course, the group winner and, of course, the runner-up. And, of course, the top 4 third place teams in the groups, of course. So we'll see who those are, of course, as we navigate through this, the process. Of course, these are your 24 nations coming at you thick and fast. Any of your standout favourites? Who's your tip for the title? Who's your dark horse? Let me know in the comment section down below. Of course, I will be cheering on Germany. I will be cheering on Scotland. I'll be cheering on Italy. I've got no connection to Italy. They were just my tip. I thought if Germany ain't going to win it, if Scotland ain't going to win it, which, you know, Scotland definitely ain't going to win it, but Germany might win it. If I had to pick another team as a surprise package or somebody that can come out of nowhere, and I've credibly think that Italy have a really good chance. So we'll take a look at those in a minute. Of course, yesterday we looked at groups A, B and C. We're not going to talk about those right here, right now. We're going to talk about these guys, D, E and F. Now, Group D has been made up with, of course, Croatia, the Czech Republic, England, and, of course, Scotland. Of course, a very tight group, that one. And, of course, you don't know, it could go either way. Kicking on forward into Group E of Poland, Slovakia, Spain, and the Swedes. They make up a very tight Group E. You'd think Spain would go through on that one comfortably, and then, of course, who knows about the runners-up spot, and, of course, the third place spot. And then we've got the Group of Death right there at the end. France, Germany, Hungary, and Portugal, of course. Yeah, looking forward to that banger as well. So let's take a look at the prediction league. Let's talk about this. Of course, yesterday we talked about match number 1, part 1. Now, this is, of course, a different QR code and a different web link to predictions for this video. So make sure you go to there, of course, to get involved with the prediction league. Now, it is hosted on my channel. You'll go to my channel, fill all the form out, make sure you fill all the slots in correctly. It'll go into a system, and of course, it will be all generated and stuff like that, and make it a lot more easier for me to keep up with the heat. So make sure you do that, and of course, make sure you bang the subscribe, bang the thumbs up, and of course, hit the little bell so you don't miss a beat. We're going to have extensive coverage here, boys and girls. We have previews, we have reviews, we have watch-alongs, we have this, we have the normal cat is back, DigiCass, and of course, the real cat, Cass the Cat, is back. So there's loads of coverage right here on Euro 2020. But anyway, today we're all about, of course, match number 1, part 2. We're going to kick it all off with this first one, of course, over in Group D, I believe. Is it Group D? It's not even Group D. What heckin' group is this? This group is bloody Group E. Wow, we're all over the shop. We're going to start with Spain up against Sweden. This will take place on Monday, the 14th of June. Of course, now these two sides, of course, familiar foes, familiar faces. Of course, you know, no slouches on this one. They'll be there or thereabouts to the back end of this competition. At least the Spanish, anyway. Of course, former winners heading into this. What's going on here? Of course, they played each other 7 times since 1950 with 4 wins for Spain, 2 wins for Sweden and 1 draw. Of course, the biggest win for the Spanish was a 4-0 win. Of course, when was that? We don't know when that was. Of course, heading into this, of course, the biggest win for the Swedes over Spain was a 2-0 win. Of course, in total, the Spanish have scored 11 goals over Sweden, and there's actually been 7 goals in return from the Swedes, of course, heading into this. Picking up around about 1.57 goals per game, the Spanish over Sweden. And of course, they've returned with a 1 goal a game ratio as well, heading into this. Of course, the form, of course, heading into this, the Swedes are actually unbeaten in the last 5 games, picking up 5 wins out of 5, with an 83% success rate with their form. As for Spain, they come into this with a 75% success rate with their form, picking up 3 wins and 3 draws as well. Unbeaten, though, in the last stretch. Of course, this is day 1, match 1. We'll see how they start in this one. Of course, the bookies' odds on this one taking place on, of course, Monday the 14th of June. 5-2 on is your Spain. The eye favourite. 7-2 is your draw. 13-2 is your long shots on this one. I think the Spanish should be comfortable on this one. I've gone with a 2-1 win for them to open up the campaign and get control of Group E. That's right, so it is Group E. Kicking on forward, also in Group E, it is Poland up against Slovakia, also taking place on Monday, the 14th of June. Like I said, I'm going to be doing a couple of watch-alongs this one. I don't think I'll be doing either of these two, because I will be at work. I'll do the other game, which is Scotland, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Of course, Poland up against Slovakia, called an Eastern European sort of encounter. Played each other 7 times since 1995. 4 wins for Slovakia, 2 wins for Poland, and there's been 1 draw. The biggest win for Poland over Slovakia was a 5-0 win. I don't know when that was. It was back actually in 1995, in June. It was a European qualifying campaign match back in the day. Also, the flip side though, Slovakia have a record of a 4-1 win over Poland. That was, of course, in 1995 as well, so they returned the favour on the second leg on that badger. So quite a competitive edge on this one. Like I said, 4 wins over the last 7 games between these two guys go in favour of Slovakia. Goodness gracious me. They've actually scored 11 goals over Poland and they've returned with 10, so it's very, very even, this one. So we'll see how that pans out. Taking place over in St. Petersburg in Russia, and of course the bookies odds on this one will be 11-8 on for Poland, 5-2 is your 54 is your Slovakia on this one. Again, over in Group E, going to go with a 2-0 win on this one for Poland to get the edge, and of course join Spain with a winner, 3 points on the block so far. Kicking on forward though, let's get into Group D now, I believe, and it is England up against Croatia, the one you've all been waiting for. That's right. Again, these are familiar opponents. They played each other a whole bunch of times over the years, and this match will take place on Sunday, the 13th of June. We will do a watch along. This one's an early game kickoff, of course. It's Southgate up against Zlato Dalic. They played each other 9 times since 2003. 5 wins for England, 3 wins for Croatia, and of course 1 draw. Their most recent, in fact, wasn't that long ago, was it? They played in the semi-final of the World Cup. But of course, the biggest win for England over Croatia was a 5-1 win. On the flip side, it was a 2-0 win for Croatia over England as well, heading into this. Of course, the total amount of goals, England have scored 21 goals over the days. Playing, of course, Croatia, they've returned with a 13-goal return as well. On average, 2.33 goals a game for England, with of course, Croatia scoring about 1.44 goals as well. Heading into this, they played each other in the Nations League quite recently, since back in 2018, and it's been a win for England and a draw as well. Of course, the bookies odds 64 on for England on this one, 30-5 is draw, 92 is your long shots. That is, of course, Croatia over in Group D. Sorry, I'm going with a win on this one for England, 2-0 win to take it to the house, and again open up their campaign with the 3 points. Joining them though will of course be Scotland up against Czech Republic. That's right. This match will take place on, of course, Monday the 14th of June over in Scotland, of course, over in Hampden Park. They played each other 9 times. They've actually been familiar foes over the recent encounters. Actually quite even Stevens as well, 4 wins apiece and 1 draw. The biggest win for Scotland though over the Czechs has just been a 1-0 win, and of course that was most recently back in the Nations League. I think they did play a bit of a hokey-cokey kind of squad though. That was it in the middle of the COVID. On the flip side, Croatia coming to this, what's their recent record? Of course, their last win against actually Scotland, you've got to go all the way back to 2010. It was a 1-0 win for the Czechs, and it was a European qualifying campaign match as well. Total goals scored by the Czechs over the Scots has been 12. On the flip side, Scotland have actually scored 11 goals over the Czechs over the years. So it's a very, very tight match, this one, and again familiar opponents as well. 90-10 is your Scots on this one. 2-1 is your draw. 13-8 is your long shots. That is, of course, the Czech Republic. Over in Group D, who's going to get control? I think it's going to end up all square on this one, 1-1. And again, starting the campaign without a defeat, I think is everyone's top priority heading into the back end now. It is Group F. Of course, it's the money matter. It's the big bad boy. It is, of course, the group of death. And then we kick it off with, of course, Hungary up against Portugal. Let's take a look at this one now, shall we? Taking place on Tuesday, the 15th of June. Just a couple of games on this one, and I hope I'll probably catch the second game. I'll probably give this one a miss. But anyway, taking place at the FedEx Puskás Stadium over in Hungary. Taking place on the 15th of June. Of course, they played each other 8 times, Hungary against Portugal, and it's been 7 wins for Portugal, 1 draw. That's the record's going back since 1966. The biggest win for Portugal was a 3-0 win. We have that back in 2009. Of course, they scored 20 goals in total over Hungary, who have responded with just the 5. Picking up a 0.63 goals per game ratio. On the flip side, Portugal picking up around about 2.5 goals a game when they take on Hungary. On the flip side, heading into this, Hungary's form is pretty good. 83% success rate. Of course, winning 4 and drawing 2 at the last 6 games in all competitions and all venues. As for Portugal, heading into this with a 67% success rate as well, picking up with just the 1 defeat in that cluster as well. Look at the bookies odds on this one taking place on the Tuesday. Is 6-1 for Hungary. Long shots 2-1 is your Portugal. They are the defending champions, of course, and 3-1 is your draw. Group F, Group of Death. It's going to be another win, or an opening day win for, of course, Portugal on this one to take the 3 points. And again, move a little closer to maybe get through to those illustrious knockout stages. And then finally, it's probably the game of the round. Of course, it is France up against Germany, and I believe it is at the Allianz Arena, taking place on, of course, Tuesday the 15th of June. That's right. Of course, the French, of course, managed by, of course, Didier Deschamps these days. Joachim Löw into his final tournament, of course, of Germany. Last tournament was the World Cup, was a bit of a disgrace. He needs to bounce back with, of course, convincing style, of course, and there's no better way to do that than defeat the world champions, of course, on this one. Heading into this, they played each other 10 times since 2003. 5 wins for the French, just 2 wins for the Germans, and 3 draws. Bit of a score needs to be said, of course, heading into this. The biggest win for the French over the Germans, of course, was a 3-0 win. That was, of course, when was that? That was back in 2003, of course. It was a friendly. Meanwhile, they scored 14 goals in total of the French over the Germans in those 10 matches. So there's just 7 goals responded by Germany, of course, picking up a 0.7 goals returned against the French. Meanwhile, the French have got a 1.4 goals returned over those 10 games as well. Heading into this, just 2 wins in the past 5 games for the Germans. Of course, the French come into this with a 92% success rate with their form, which is just 1 blip, which is a draw. So French heading into this in quite convincing style, quite strong as well, and they fancy the chances on this one. 31-20 is your French on this one, 9-5 is your Germans, and 11-5 is your draw. You could say, with, of course, a bit of backing, a bit of fan support, the Germans might edge this one. I want Germany to win. I really bloody do. I think they'll lose this one 2-1 in the end, and the French will open up a campaign with a win, just like Portugal, to get control of Group F. Kicking on forward, though, that is it. That is the state of play. Well, that is it, boys and girls. That is it. Of course, now, before you go out of it, make sure you check out the link, of course, for the old prediction league. Make sure you get your picks in nice and early. Of course, we will have a winner. There'll be a prize and everything, and a bit of glory as well. So make sure you check it out with the old description right here, right now, with the link down below. Of course, QR code if you fancy, just like that. But there it is, boys and girls. There it bloody is. Of course, we'll have extensive coverage for Euro 2020 from kickoff all the way through to the final whistle, which, of course, will be out in Wembley, I believe. I'm not too sure. The 11th of July, that's right. We'll have watch-alongs. We've got predictions. We've got previews. We've got reviews, we've got Digicast, we've got the real cat who is back. So make sure you bang the subscribe, bang the thumbs up, and of course we'll look forward to seeing you next time around. Until then, who do you think's going to win? Get your picks in there, of course, down there below to let us all know. But make sure you go over to the website and get them in to see if you can win.